Hi, I'm Steve Venner, G0TAN. I provide technical and engineering support to Martin Lynch & Sons here in Chertsey. Today I want to talk to you about the new Icom IC 7100. I'm going to show you how easy it is to operate using their new touchscreen technology. Icom's new radio, the 7100, it basically covers HF bands, including 5 megs for those that have an NOV, so you don't have to have the radio modified in any way. Also covers 6 meters, 4 meters straight out of the box, 2 meters and 70 sems. It also includes DStar, and the novel thing about this is the new touchscreen display, which I'll talk about later on. So other than that, it does 100 watts on all HF bands, including 6 meters, 50 watts on 4 meters and 2 meters, and 35 watts on 70 sems. So, what's in the box, I hear you ask? First of all, you have the user manual, some software on CD-ROM. You also have the main base unit here, which incorporates a front SD slot for use with an SD card, which I'll explain later. The microphone, various interconnect cables, power cables and the like, and the important part is the head unit or control unit here. So what you have on the front of the unit is a lot of frequently used controls, such as the volume control, the RF gain, squelch, VFO knob, memory channel controls and other functions along the bottom here. But most importantly is the new touchscreen display, which allows a lot more functionality to be easily accessible. On the back of the head unit you have the built-in speaker, which provides superb audio quality, the interconnect socket to connect the cable to the main unit, microphone socket, Morse key and external speaker. You also have these extendable feet to give you a little bit more support of the head unit should you need it. Okay, right, so first thing we're going to do is power the unit on. Let's wait a few seconds for it to boot up. And there we have a signal. So first off, the control at the top is the volume control. Volume's coming out of the little internal speaker on the back of the head unit. Surprisingly good audio quality for such a small speaker. The back knob, back control, is the RF gain and squelch control. So we leave it about set to midday. The control below that is a multi-function control, and its normal operation is to change memory channels or memory banks should you want to. Along the bottom we have the RIT, receiver incremental tuning. If you press that, the RIT light comes on and you can use the inner knob to change the tuning. And if you want to reset it, you can just press and hold the button and it takes you right back. Okay, that's the RIT. Next button is tuner stroke call. If you have a tuner attached to the main unit, pressing that button will actually start the auto-tune process. You have a menu button along the front here, which I'll describe later on. The next button below that is the microphone gain and RF power. Right, the mic gain is the top control. Okay, we set that to about 50%. The outer one allows you to change the RF power, and that's normally at the moment set to 100%, i.e. 100 watts. Okay, and we just press the button again. Next one along is the noise blanker. If you have noise blanker, pulse noise, that reduces it significantly. And you can, pressing and holding a key will allow you to change the level depending on how much you want. And then if you get a bit confused, you can just press the default and it'll reset it back. So that's the noise blanker. The speed and pitch control, again, if you do that, if you're in CW mode, then the inner knob does the speed, the outer one does the actual pitch, but we're not in CW, so that doesn't have anything to do at the moment. Next one up here is the noise reduction. Noise reduction, if it's on at the moment, if I turn that off, you can see the actual background noise rises significantly. And again, you can, by pressing and holding it, you can change the level how you want it. So you can turn it way up. Okay, and if you turn it on, it goes right down. And then if you press and hold, you can see how much it changes. So we set the default level as there, and turn the noise reduction off. You've got a preamp button here, which has two preamps, preamp 1, preamp 2, preamp off. If you press and hold it, you actually get the attenuator selected. So we usually run it with preamp 1 engaged. The next button along at the top is the notch filter, so if you have an annoying tone that you want to get rid of, you can press the notch. This comes up with AN, which is the automatic notch filter, and that immediately takes out any unwanted tones. If you press it again, you can get manual notch, and if you press and hold it, you can change manually to notch out the tone that you don't want. Okay. The DR button is the digital mode. I'm going to talk a little bit about the DStar part of that later on. The other two buttons here, we have the set menu, which sets a whole bunch of stuff. Again, I'm going to go through that in a little bit more detail later on. And then we have a quick set menu. Again, I will talk about those separately and show you what features are available. The auto tune button is something that if you have an auto tuner, you can set it up to every time you key up, the auto tuner will tune if you want it to. You don't have to press the tune button. If you're running split, the XFC button will show you the your transmitted frequency rather than the received frequency. The speech button, if I press that, so you can just about hear that maybe. That's for partially sighted people. It helps them navigate the radio. We can turn that off. Oh, don't turn it off, we just keep it going. That's fine, that's okay. And the bottom, very good. That's the memo pad. If you want to store any memos, you want to go through them quickly, but we haven't got anything stored at the moment. On the top here, you have the main VFO dial, as you can see. And that's adjustable. You can either have it in free mode, you can have it so that it clicks, or you can have some form of resistance to save you spinning, but we normally leave it in that mode so it's easy to tune. So that's the main controls on the front of the control unit. So next we come on to the main touchscreen display. Let's say for such a small unit, one of the complaints, or sorry, some of the comments that we hear about small radios is the difficulty in navigating the menu systems and trying to remember where things are. Well, Icom have got around this by actually using this touchscreen technology to allow you to access features of the radio which you wouldn't be able to normally access because of the physical size. So the simple way of doing this is, so I've already told you how to, or shown you how to use the VFO, which is fine, but if you want to go to a different band, you say, well, where's the band button? Well, that's basically what you have to do, is touch the megahertz part and you will get your band selection up. So if we want to go to, say, to 28 meg, something like that, we just touch 28 megs and there we go. So we go back to any band we want, 18 megahertz, great. One thing that you will probably have noticed on there, there's no band button for the 70 megs part of the band. So the way to get around that is by going frequency input, or F input, okay, and you can type in the frequency directly, so 70.1 should we say, and enter, and there we go. So that's how you so easily to change frequency. Now normally you can use the VFO knob to change frequency, but if it's a bit too slow, rather than the tuning step button which you normally have on Icom radios, you just hit the middle part of the band and you'll see a little icon appear over that, and suddenly the tuning speeds up significantly. And if that's too fast for you, you just take that off. If you want to go down to 1 Hz tuning, you can press and hold that and you see the last digit come up here. So that's that, press and hold. Okay, good, so back, that's how it is normal. So that's the frequency input. The next thing we're going to say, well, you want to change modes. How do we change modes? So again, you have USB up on the top left hand side of the display. You just press the USB and now you have your SSB, CW, RTTY, AM, FM, wideband FM, data and digital voice. So we just sort of say whatever you want to go to. CW, it changes to CW. So let's go back to sideband. Did I get it right? Yes, sideband. I'm going to go back to 14 megs because that's some noise and stuff on there. Now, as far as filtering is concerned, what you have here is the filter button. Okay, so you can see what filter you've selected. It goes through the normal filter 1, filter 2, filter 3. So filter 1, filter 2, filter 3. You see it gradually gets narrower and narrower. But what you can do, if you press and hold that, you can actually see the filter that's selected. And you can actually change these settings on here if you want. You can change it from soft filtering to sharp filtering. You can change the bandwidth if you want to very, very, very narrow bandwidth. It tells you the frequency. On CW you can go right down to 50 Hertz in bandwidth, but we're not going to do that now, so I'll just press that, and that's the default. So that's for default for filter 3. So there you go. So we're going to go back to filter 1. Okay, so that's that. So that was the main most commonly used functions of the touchscreen display. But to make things a little bit more easy to use, we also have a menu system here, which is accessed via the menu button on the keypad here. So when you get that, this cycles through 3 phases of the main menu. So we've got M1, which has scan, split, AB, VFOs, VFO or memory or memory write. Menu 2 has duplex, AGC, voice, compression, transmit bandwidth. And menu 3 is also the memo to do it storing on the memo pad, the band scope, and the SWR checker, which you can check out your antenna, see how good it is. I'm going to go through a few of these features now, not too many because we don't have too much time. Well, let's go to menu 1. So if we want to do, say you want to do split frequency, hit the split button. We're currently at 14.1 meg on our transmit. So this is where the XFC button happens, and you can see that we've got a 93.91 kilohertz. Now if you want to change that from the main bit VFO, you can change that the other way. You can get right down to probably let's try 10 hertz. It's usually plus 10 kilohertz. So we go up there. That's a 10 kilohertz shift. Hold that. So now we know we're 10 kilohertz from the when we key up. If we key up now, we transmit on that frequency. So that's the split. We take that off. Okay, let's try the next menu, which is what here. So if we have the AGC, we can set it from slow, fast, or medium. And you can change by holding those, you can change the delay to suit yourself. Okay, so go back to the menu. Again, with the compression, you can turn that on and turn the compression level up. So it's so easy to use. Transmit bandwidth you do in a similar way. So menu 3, memo I've already said about sort of storing memory features. The scope button will give you a band scope. If you press it, just press and hold it, it scans once. If, however, you press and hold it, it continues to scan. Now we have a signal coming up there, so we can stop that. Now we can tune our VFO to somewhere around about there. But it doesn't appear to be anyone. Maybe, oh, someone's tuning up. Okay, all right. So that's how the scan mode works, or scope mode, I should say. Now the other thing that I quite like on this radio, and it's similar to the one on the IC7000, is the SWR meter. So if you know you want to sort of check out how good your antenna is, what you can do is we can set the number of bar baths, this one, and we can say let's go up to 13 steps. Okay, so we've got lots of little 13 steps around here. Now what we can do is if we press the play button, if you like, now when you key up the microphone, you can see what the SWR is like all the way across your band. All the way across. So we know that we've got a pretty good SWR all the way across the area that we're interested in. So that's one, and if you have a bad SWR, you can do something about it, ATU or fix the antenna. Okay, and the last option there is the Vox. So you can switch the Vox on, maybe, if you're lucky. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. So the next operation is to use the set menu. This provides you access to a lot of less frequently used functions. So if we just press the set button, and what happens now, I'll just turn the volume down a little bit, we can set, we've got 4 pages on here, so what we do is go up to page 1, so you've got the voice memo, that will store a voice recording if you want to on your SD card. You've got call sign, that's for used in DStar. We just go back there. Receive history is another a DStar feature, which I'll talk about briefly later. Your DV memory, what else we got? My station, so you can set up your station messages so that when the radio wakes up you can see it displayed. Digital voice set, GPS. The GPS feature is utilised using a third-party application. We haven't used that yet, so that's fairly new to us. What else? We've got speech. So this tells you that when you press the speech button here, what happens, what you can do. Mode speech. We basically sort of have everything on except for the mode speech. Then what else have we got? QSO RX log function button. This is quite useful because this gives you access to. You've got 7 pages in here. Yes, they are a little bit convoluted, but once you get used to them, it's quite easy to do. Quite easy to find your way around. So you can go down all the various different PTT locks, what tuner you have, all sorts of different things, the notch switches, as you can see there. So, okay, so there you go. Right, so that goes back. You've got tone control. This is the RX tone, SSB. There's all sorts of different things that you can set up. As I said earlier, this is the sort of features that you very rarely use. Even down to the connectors, so you can tell it whether you want to use USB on the audio out, so if you're doing any data modes, things like that, digital modes. And we go down a little bit more. You can set up the display how you like it. You can have, let's say, contrast. We can get it quite contrasty or very weak, depending on your light levels, your surrounding. Same with key backlights, LCD backlight, and other such things. What else have we got on here? Black and white pop-ups. There's all sorts of things that you can do on here, but it's amazing features. Okay, so we go back, and here is where you set the SD card. You can save all your parameters, you can save your RTTY messages, you can save your voice calling messages, all by storing them on the SD card. You've got, basically, if you're recording, you've got 35 hours of recording, should you need it. Okay, and if you want to format the SD card, no, we don't want to do that because it's got some stuff on there we don't want to get rid of. Okay, and then here, and then you unmount it if you want to ever remove it. Okay, so the others here gives you the information about the radio, the version, software CPU version, DSP version. Go back. You can clone 2 radios. Should you be rich enough to have 2 of these? Actually, they're very cheap, so there's no reason why you shouldn't have 2. You can do touchscreen calibration, and then you can do a reset. This is what they recommend when you first receive the unit. Do a partial reset. I'm not going to do that because it's going to wipe out some of the DStar stuff that I've already saved from earlier. So that's the set menu. There is another menu here called the quick set. If I press that, now here you can do such things as meter type, so you can have the meter set to power output, SWR, so it changes to SWR, so when you key up, we've already done an SWR check earlier, so we know that's okay. So again, we do quick set, the priority watch is on if you have priority watch, GPS position, and GPS information. At the moment, we don't, as I said earlier, we don't have any GPS capability on this at the moment because it's handled by a third party. So we haven't delved into that just yet. Maybe for a future release of this production. I mentioned earlier on one of the features about this radio is DStar. DStar has been set up on the 7100 to be as easy to use as possible. So with that in mind, depending on your location, there is a database effectively pre-programmed into the radio, allows you to select all of the current DStar repeaters and select your local one, and that's again a function of the GPS should it be enabled on your system. So what we're going to do first is change bands to 2 meters, so hit the top button, 144, there we go. Right, so we change bands and then we just hit the DR button at the bottom, and at the moment you can see there that our local DStar repeater is set to Tring in Hertfordshire. Now when you get this first off, you can set up whichever one you want. You'll have a menu option here, repeater list. If you actually hit that, you can say which country do you want to go to. Then we say United Kingdom, which is us, and then you can scroll up and down to whichever one you want until we get. We're going to stick with Tring as that's fairly local to us. Okay, and then what we're going to do here, so all this data now has all been pre-programmed. You don't actually have to do anything as such, just to enter your call sign. So we can do CQ. If I press and hold that, actually I don't want to do that one, I want to do, oh, let's try it again, there we go, right, that's it. So we're going to do a local CQ, and what I'm going to do here is do echo test. Okay, so it should come up there. So we're doing echo test to Tring in Herts. Now if I speak into this, I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. We say G0 TAN testing.
G0 TAN testing.
There we go. So Echolink is now as easy as that. So much easier. So there you go. So that's the basic features of the 7100. It is so easy to use. Obviously there's going to be a little learning curve, but the learning curve is actually quite short compared with some of the other radios. So I hope you enjoy it. There you go, and thank you for watching.
Great.
All right, Richard.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Well, it was my pleasure.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Thank you for the demonstration of the 7100.
I tell you what, it's been a pleasure to use since we've had
Excellent.
it here. I'm very impressed with it. So,
Yeah. Well, I think we're all taken by the 7100.
Yep.
Icom have definitely hit on a winner, and I think that's been proven by the sales so far.
Yes, absolutely.
We've got very limited stocks left, so if anyone would like to place an order, please contact either myself, Richard, sales manager here at Martin Lynch & Sons, or any of my sales guys directly at the store. As I say, we've got very limited numbers left. There will be a new delivery coming into September,
Yep.
but as I say, we do have limited stocks left at the moment. Part exchanges obviously considered, and finance options available, so please do give us a call here at the store. So thanks again, Steve.
Thank you. Cheers.
Fantastic.
It's a pleasure.
And a great radio.
Yep,
Enjoy to use, I think.
Yep.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.